Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Lightweight Monday Zoom meeting. So I'm very happy tonight. I have a super guest, and he is studying PhD in night, and he is a biophotonic scientist. Tonight, he's going to share with us about the science of biophoton and its relations with the photobiomodulation. And then welcome to our super guest, Nima Farshid. So let me...
Hello, everybody. Hi, Susanna. Thank you so much for having me today. What a blessing. Good afternoon, good evening to all of you.
Thank you so much for your coming here to share with us. So I pass the time for you and hope that you give us more insight and let us know how our body have night and your expertise in night therapy, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that introduction. To give you guys a little bit of background about myself, I went through a healing journey myself. This was about 10 years ago when I was running a very successful business, and all of a sudden I noticed that I was getting severe heart palpitations, and my heartbeat would raise up to 200 beats a minute, and I would get a feeling of dizziness, and I wouldn't be able to focus. So I went to my regular doctor. I wanted to just do a checkup to see what's going on with my system, like why am I experiencing such difficulties? And they hooked up an EKG monitor to me, and they told me immediately that we have to rush you to a cardiologist because you have abnormal EKG. And I was just very shocked. You know, I'm a very athletic person. I'm a semi-professional wakeboarder. I'm a semi-professional soccer player, and along, with all my research that I do. So I was extremely shocked. And, I went to the doctor, I went to the cardiologist, they shot me out with dyes. I had to run on treadmill. And they came after a few hours and they told me that I need to place a pacemaker. Otherwise my heart could stop beating within a few weeks. And this is something that, it's a long history in my family that my father had a pacemaker at age 31. My grandfather passed away at age 41 from a heart attack. And every single male in our family has heart issues. So this was my mission in life to kind of try to figure out how we can overcome this and how we can figure how we can heal heal this issue in our family tree. So this was I feel like this is a wake up call to me, and the universe is communicating with me that I need to pay more attention to myself and see how I can get to this to this healing from my generation. And so I started to I wanted to take the natural path, and I wanted to do a lot of research to educate myself to see how I could bring healing to myself, because I knew that there's through energy therapy there was a lot of natural products that there are a lot of people that are bringing healing to themselves. So I started to travel the world, and I started to attend a lot of different seminars, and started meeting with the top scientists of our time. And I gained a lot of knowledge, and I started to go back to school to continue my education to finish my doctorate in natural medicine. And through the process, I was learning a lot of new modalities, and I was being introduced to a lot of amazing new products. And my goal was to see, how am I energetically influencing myself? Because after my studying, I realized that our system, our bodies there's a communication, there's a photonic communication that's happening within our bodies through our cells. And that's how our cells are communicating with each other, through photons. And this was very fascinating to me. I wanted to understand that if there's this communication, then how can we maybe tap into this communication and be able to understand, where there's miscommunication or misinformation, so that we can become preventative, and we can, understand how we can bring, healing energetically to these areas through photons. And also, I wanted to understand, as I was learning all these new modalities and using different new products like life wave patches and meditation, breath work, I wanted to see if there was a way that I can scientifically understand that how using different modalities, different products are influencing my energy body in real time. And that was very important to me because, you know, I didn't have that much time to want to waste time to want to go and, you know, do different modalities. So I was doing research and I found a technology that is called the BioWall. It was a device that works with the biophotonics and the Kirlian photography. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And this is a technology that helped me and brought a lot of light and insight into my my journey, so that I could understand if I'm using products, how is it influencing me in real time? And now I've used this science and I've created a global a movement with an education and with you know, different ways of testings. And I have a research and development center that I work directly with the inventor of this technology. And now we're blessed to have Susanna having a center in Hong Kong that we can even take this technology and we can have it in, you know, different areas for people to take advantage. We have thousands of practitioners now all around the world. So I wanted to take today and introduce this beautiful technology to you guys, so that first of all, we can do a better job doing patching, because through my research, I've realized that you know, the placements that are recommended by the company are very amazing. But through my research, I feel like there is we can even become more detailed about the placement of the patches, and the placements are shown to be extremely influential in the outcome and the real-time results that we're picking up from these devices. So this technology, I'm going to share my screen if it's okay with you, Susanna, so I can
Okay.
start a presentation for you guys. I have a little sign on the screen. Can you remove that, or is it on my side? Let me see if I can remove that one. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so we're talking about the science of biophotonics and biophotomodulation. And my company is Gaia Healers, and my name is Nima Farshid. I'm the founder at Gaia Healers. And we're talking about the science that came around in the 1700s. And this was through the Lichtenberg figure. And this was the effect of a fluorescence or glow of animate or inanimate objects when they were placed in high intensity lights. And they could see these emanations of light. Then we had Nikola Tesla in 1880s, that he started to do a lot of research on how photons are emitted from the body when we place ourselves in a highly electrical field. So after that, in Russia, there was a couple, they were the Kirlian couple, that between the 1930s and the 40s, they investigated and noticed that when they they were doing a lot of research in different hospitals, and they were working with a high voltage equipment. And they wanted to see, and they realized on accident one time that as they were working on a system, they put one of their tools on the system, and they saw that how there was a glow that appeared around this object. So then they worked on that, and this became the Kirlian effect, and they actually created some photography systems that could take image of the emanations of lights around different objects. And this forever changed biology as we know it. Because you know, before we thought that there's matter, and the matter is creating lights. But once we got access to this technology, we realized that one of the experiments is called the phantom leaf. That they took a leaf, a leaf that was live straight from a tree. They cut it in half, and they put it on a Kirlian photography system. And what had happened was that instead of only showing half of the leaf, it showed the energy pattern of the entire leaf. And this became the proof that there's actually light, there's photons, there's energy first. And from the accumulation of this energy is where matter gets created. So that's, again, the science of light and the circulation of light within our system that we'll talk about. These are some images. These are some Kirlian photography images that you can just do a search on Google. And this is what you're going to see. This is like a half an apple on the screen that's cut in half. They put it on this plate. There's a plate that's charged with a positive and a negative. And when we place an object in the center and we have an electrode at the bottom that sends an electrical impulse into the object that's on the plate, we see that the light emanates from these objects. And they started to do research with human fingers and hands. And as you can see at the bottom of the image here, what they realized was that with healthy people, when they do these scans of them, these biophotonic scans of them, they see that the emanation of light is complete and there's no breakages in the field. But when they were scanning some people, like if you look at this image at the bottom, there's specific areas that light is missing within the system. So they wanted to realize if there is first of all, what does that mean? Like, why is the light missing on some areas and it's not in the specific other areas? And what they realized was that based on the wellness of the person, the more healthy the person was, the more light emanation or gas discharge they could visualize on these, Kirlian photography systems. And if people were not as well, then if you look at the bottom right image at the bottom, you can see, we see these breakages in the emanation of light or the gas discharge within the system. And this is Peter Mandel in Germany, that from the 1930s to 86, he actually created systems that we could, for example, put our fingers and our feet on there, and we would apply this electrical impulse, and then they could take these images to really see, like, how is the wellness of the person, in a photonic way. How is the light emission out of the system? Because if there's this photonic communication that's happening internally, then there is this glow of light that gets emanated from the body. So his system, they were pretty amazing, but the only difficulty was that it only depended on the expertise of the practitioner. So if a practitioner was a novice practitioner, then maybe their understanding of the images weren't really as good as somebody that's we're doing scans for a while. So there wasn't repeatability, and that's why Dr. Konstantin Krotkov in Russia, he started to do a lot of research on understanding what do these patterns mean. And they did this research with a team of scientists, and over 25 years, they created a software system that would get connected to a Kirlian photography camera, that we could take images from the tip of each finger and take this information and analyze it in order to get understanding of the understanding this communication, the photonic communication within the system. So this became known as the EPI, electronic imaging photography, and it's an analysis based on capturing the stimulated electrophotonic emission created by high voltage, high intensity electromagnetic impulse. And this is also known as GDV, or gas discharge visualization. And we're drawing information out of the acupuncture points and out of the meridian pathways. And they have the endpoints at the tip of our fingers and our feet. So that's how the light is being emitted from within the fingers when the fingers inside this camera system. And then it looks like a hue of light like that. And there's a lot of books that's been written on this technology, and they've been published. There's many scientific articles that are published on this in peer-reviewed journals. There's this is actually known as a medical device in Russia, and they have a lot of different certificates for that system. And the reason that we use the fingers is, first of all, it's the easiest part to access. Because in Peter Mandel time, they had to take people's socks off, and you don't want to really deal with that when somebody comes into your office. So when we're just accessing the fingers, it's the cleanest part. We don't have to deal with any issues, highest density of blood vessels, and highest density of sweat glands. So that way we're allowed to draw a lot of information about the stress levels and everything that happens within the system. And this is the parametric analysis. So all the parameters in the software, there's this visual analysis, and it's made by the user as they do the scans. And this is kind of like the science that we go through to understand wellness in a different view. So the first thing that we want to understand is mindset. The second thing is that could lead into issues and miscommunications within the field that could manifest into physiological issues later on in life. Could be incorrect interaction with the world. We can have metabolic misbalances. That could be one of the reasons for illness. We could have accumulation of toxins within our system. That could be another reason that we could be out of balance energetically. And after we don't pay attention to these levels, if everything just continues to go the way it is, then symptoms appear. And after symptoms, then there's terminal stage. So as you can see, there's this level of characterization between wellness. So our goal is to be able to, instead of working on a physiological level, which is your old school system is just working on our old medical system, the allopathic system that's working with just putting medicine into our body in a physical form in order to turn that into energy, in order to influence our energy body. So as you can see, this is called the downward causation. So we're entering into the physiological level, then we want to influence our let me bring my graphs back here. We want to influence our energy level, and then in order to influence our mental level. So when we draw this information photonically out of the system, it's given us a chance to, before the information, the miscommunication, the misinformation is manifested into our physiological system, we can catch it into the first stages. And look, with the life wave patches, what we're doing now is that we're understanding exactly the flow of where the energy is missing, or where there's too much energy in the system. And then we can work with the different patches that we have into bringing the system back more into the optimal zone. And instead of waiting until we have symptoms, that we have to work with our systems in a very invasive way. So after drawing this information from here, this is how the data is collected. We place our fingers on the screen. There's an electrical impulse, pushes the information into the desktop, and then we see it in a visual way. And it's very fast, it's very highly informative, and it's reproducible. So different people that use the BioWell and this technology are all different types of practitioners, psychologists, therapists, but we love to use that. And we've been working with LifeWave for a while now and doing research with the patches and understanding how in real time they're influencing the energy body. So understanding the way that this technology works, there's two different ways that we do scans. And I'm explaining this to you so we can understand how we do our testings with the patches in order to really see where's the perfect placement. And that in my research has really shown very effective, because in real time, we can see where the stress level of a person is and then be able to help them. So that was our full scan mode, that we scanned the 10 fingers, and it gives us information about the biofield. Now, as you're looking at these photons, this light that's being emitted from our body, then we can see if there's some shoots out of energy. Those are the areas that like energetically we're having this almost like if you look at the entire body as a wheel, as like a tire, imagine. And if you have holes in a tire, then you can see how like the energy as within the tire, imagine energy in our bodies is like air within the tire. And where the energy is dissipating is where we see these shoots outs of energy. So these are the photons that are being wasted out of our system. So now with the amazing technology that we have from LifeWave and photobiomodulation, we get to study to see, okay, we understand the meridian pathways within the system. We have now a graphical image of see exactly in what areas within the system we're having these breakages of energy. So a different way now, after we figure out these pathways or shootouts, then we can do a stress scan. We just scan the two ring fingers, and it gives us information about the stress level of a person. So we use this information to understand in real time, to see how we can influence somebody's energy. If their stress is high, how can we take it down into optimal zone, let's say within 10 to 15 minutes? That would be awesome, right? If somebody comes to us and we see them, they're stressed, how cool would it be that we could kind of like binoculars look into their system to see where they have issues, And this is kind of like an example of like a tire of a car. And if you think about it, that it has like there's like a flat tire, and you take it in, they realize exactly where's the hole that the air is being dissipated, and then they put a patch on it, and that will fix the dissipation of air or the energy, and it will maintain balance within the system. So this is kind of what we're doing here. We're trying to see, okay, if the stress level is high, if I put a patch, let's say in that image that we saw, there was a shootout like right around the throats, for example, that person's respiratory system, there's overactivation of energy. So, and when we have these shootouts, that means that our body is sending more energy to that area to heal something there. So then if I go and place, for example, an ion on that specific area, and I do a stress scan, then immediately in real time, it shows me if the stress level goes down or not. And if I know that that placement is on the right spot, then you see a big drop. So now I have a case study here that I want to share with you guys of how we can use this technology in order to first educate more people about how powerful we are and how there's this photonic emission of light within us, and how we're all lights. I mean, we're all just like particles that are vibrating in high intensity and producing electromagnetic lights. And that's what we're measuring with the BioWell. We're measuring this UV, this ultraviolet light that's being emitted from the body. And now we're so blessed to have an amazing technology like photobiomodulation to be able to, and like the patches, to be able to actually work through the dissipation of where the energy is being dissipated, exactly work on that light that's been emitting to reflect that light back in and provide an environment for healing, so our own bodies can start to heal ourselves. Because we are the ultimate devices. I mean, we are the ultimate technology. There's nothing more complex and more powerful than us, than the power of our mind, than our will. So this technology just allow us to understand how powerful we are, and shed light into beautiful products like LifeFaith. So this is a case study that I want to talk about. This person, I scanned this person, and as you can see, the stress level was very high. So 447 is considered very high. If we get to like excessive, between 8 to 10, where the red is, then that's when people have, God forbid, they have stroke, heart attack, you can have anxiety attacks. So we definitely want to prevent our stress levels to go that high and get into those zones. So now I wanted to understand, okay, how can I help this person in order to, in real time, to be able to bring their stress levels down? And, she was sitting in front of me, like I could feel the stress from her body, like she was just like stressed out. So in the system, it shows us a graph, and this is called the area diagram. And we get to see where internally in our system, when we're looking at the left and the right hemispheres of our brain, how much information is being requested from what different system. So if you look on the left side, you can see on the sacrum, there's this huge point that there's this huge like indication or shootout that shows that there's a lot of energy or a lot of information that's being requested in the lower back of that person. So then this gave me information to, okay, well, we have the IceWave patches. Let's see how we can use the IceWave patches to help this person. And these are the different information that also gives us, so we can actually see the pathway of meridians within the system. So when we get the patches with the books that they come, there is the recommendations or recommended spots that we can place the patches, but I find them a lot more influential when we look at this graph in here, and when we see where is and you can see at the bottom, there's this color codes that everything is color coded. So we can see like the ones that are like very highly like a dark yellow, then those are like extreme overactivation in the system. So that's like that, like the example of the tire and the hole being in that space. So now we want to patch that area in order to help this person. So then we can go and click on liver and see where's this energy pathway. And then we can just put the patches on these specific areas. And without even taking the tape off, without even taking the back of them off, we can just, because these patches are non-transdermal. So all we have to do is flip them around where there's a clear side, and you can just hold it, have the person just hold it, for example, on their throat or on their liver. And then we do a stress scan of the two fingers, and then immediately shows us if that's the right placement for it, then the energy will drop or the stress level will drop. So now that's what I did. I placed the patch on her liver. I'm sorry, I placed the ice wave patch on her lower back on the sacrum area, and we did another scan. That quickly, it jumped from that orange area down into the increased area. So ideally, we want to be in optimal. So I want to see how can I help her. So I went back to that graph again, and I want to see, okay, I already took care of the sacrum, the lower back. Now let me see what is this photonic communication within my system or within this person's system that is showing that there's a lot of information being requested. So when I look on the right side, you see liver. Liver, there's this big shootout that's like pointing out. So that's like a cry for help. So then I put an ice wave patch on the liver. And I'm sorry, I put the eon patch on the liver. And this is exactly what happened. As soon as I place it, it dropped to 311. And then I want to check it again. I want to say, okay, how can I help her more? I look at the blind gut. That's the next like cry for help. So I place another eon on the blind gut. And I was able to take her within 15 minutes into the optimal zone where she was so highly stressed out. And we do this every day. There's so many cases of this that I can show you guys. But for the sake of time, we can always share that with you guys and have different meetings. I've created after that I went through this, I've created an app, a community that I want to invite you guys to join us in this mission. It's a global movement that we're gathering like-minded people together that believe in a holistic way of healing ourselves. And we're sharing a lot of knowledge in here. We have over 800 practitioners that do research in the holistic fields, and many different types of doctors, researchers. So this would be a great place for you. And we have different types of courses. We have a photobiomodulation course that we've created with Susanna there. And we take advantage of her years of research that she's done. And you guys are welcome to join us and take advantage of this information on the app, so you can learn how exactly where to place the patches. I've actually created a protocol for where we see different areas and different shootouts. How do we know what patches to use with the LifeWave system? And this is based on the hundreds and hundreds of scans that we have done in our research center. And we've used Susanna's help with it as well to be able to bring this knowledge to you guys. I've done an interview with David Schmidt himself, and love this guy. He's such an amazing soul. And he actually told me that, and through the research that I've done in the past with them, that they've done a lot more research in this field with a lot of different bioworld researchers in the past. And all of this video is available on YouTube. My channel is Lightworkers TV. You guys can, it's one of the first videos that I have on there. You can go there and watch that video. It's very informative, and I love his mission, and he talks about his mission here. If you also go to the LifeWave website, if you go to the science section of the website, there is an area that will give you a lot of study that they have actually used the BioWell to do their research and to do some of their before afters, to be able to understand how actually the LifeWave patches are influencing the body. And for today, I have a special offer for you guys. So this is a link. If anybody's interested in this technology, you guys can write that down and take a visit to it. We have a lot of free courses that we offer for you guys. Our mission is to educate you in this field, so you can bring this knowledge to many different places around the world, so we can have this revolution of wellness and be able to help people with life. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate your time.
So we are so grateful to have Lima to share with us tonight, and let us have more information about how nice moving in our body and how to prove lightweight product work for our body too. So actually, Lima is my teacher and my mentor. I'm learning from him the phototherapy and also study hard to get my BioWell practitioner's certification. So I hope coming future I can set up center in Hong Kong and in Australia to help more people understand more about their own body energy flow and cells work. So and how the lightweight product I think it's practically help them to improve the wellness and show the immediately before and after report. So dear all, we catch the time and to ask the question, let my teacher can reply with his professional knowledge. So here we have around 68 people now. So maybe you type your question in chat room so that I can read it out and let Nima reply. So now I also will open up to let all of you can raise up your hands and then I can call your name because too many people now, okay? So maybe put in the chat room will be better, okay? So we can read it out. So, okay. So is it clear? Is it clear, everyone? Understand more about the light? This is so scientific.
Was it too scientific for you guys?
Yeah, okay.
Any questions on the science on how you can use patches better?
Yes, have William asking, is there any limitation in your technology? I think the technology.
Any limitation?
Hmm.
What do you mean by limitation?
William?
Actually, with this technology, you can let your mind go wild. There's so many different ways that we can do research because the device itself allows us to do research on the human biofield, but then we have different attachments that we can use. Like we have an attachment called an Sputnik. This is what it looks like. So we can, for example, attach this to our BioWell system, and then we can pick up information from our environment. We have a water sensor that we can pick up information about the energy in water, of how the structure of water is getting influenced. And we have also like a glove that gets connected to it that we can monitor the energy in real time. So we can like put patches on people's hands, they can hold it, and we can see how it's going to influence their stress level or their energy level. So there's, I mean, tons of ways that we can use this technology now to do research. We work with many different type of manufacturers, many types of practitioners, from medical doctors to psychologists to Reiki practitioners to energy workers to different types of researchers. I mean, there's unlimited of what you can do with this technology.
So also we have a guest in the chat room asking, want to check what patch and where to put for stroke patient with pyrus and spatch deficiency.